Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody, and welcome inside to a Thursday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. And to answer the theme song's question, I am on my own today, and I'll be on my own for a couple of days. Ty Bartell still on vacation, enjoying that Florida heat. I am so jealous because it is not Florida outside, and that is apparent. You step outside, it is freezing cold, but we venture on. We have a lot today. It's a jam-packed show. We're going to hear from Deidre Watson live on the show, head coach of the number 4 ranked in the YSN Power Rankings Liberty Leopards. She'll be joining us at 12:30. We'll also have a debuting an interview with Nick Blanche at Coach's Corner episode 3. We have a Coach's Corner from Aaron Pounds will be debuting as well. That's going to be episode 2 with him. And on top of all that, we are debuting an interview with Carla Blancafort from Jackson, Milton. She is an exchange student from Spain. We had to talk about her journey from Spain to the United States and what it's been like for her to kind of adapt to everything. It's a great conversation. Can't wait for everyone to hear it. So we have debuts from all 3 of those, as well as recaps and post-game interviews from last night, as well as picks for tonight. And you know what? I'm going to enjoy the pick section because there's no pressure on me anymore for today. I don't have to strategize on if I'm going to lose to Ty. I can just make picks and relax about it. So we'll have that a little bit later on in the show. Let's start off with our recaps from last night and our scores. And we'll start with the game that I was at and covered. It is Boardman getting the 50-35 win over Warren Harding. And in this game, Boardman was a very fast start, 11-2. They jumped out to the lead. Emma Mills, a big reason why. She had a great start to the game. I believe scored 5 of their first 7, had 7 points before the end of the first quarter, finished with 11. Emma Mills, a big reason why they got off to a fast start. Warren Harding really had a strong second quarter, cut it to 3 points before halftime. I believe it was 19-16 at the half. A big third quarter for Boardman was the difference. They pushed away, and they got the win 50-35 over the Raiders. A big AAC win, and Boardman definitely hopes that it is one that they can build momentum off of. They play at East on Saturday. I had a chance to talk with Mckenzie Riccitelli after the game. She earned the Baird Brothers Player of the Game, so we'll hear from her and see what she had to say in her post-game interview. Anthony Hartwig here with tonight's Player of the Game, Mckenzie Riccitelli. Boardman, the win over Warren Harding. Mckenzie, what did it feel like to get out and get a win in the league and the AAC?
Felt great, and a conference win, and hopefully we'll keep winning from here on out, make things a little bit better than they are now.
You guys started off fast. They made a run at halftime, but then it seemed like that third quarter you made the adjustments. What was the conversations at halftime to make the changes?
Just slow down, take our time, not force anything too much, limit our turnovers, because we just had some sloppy passes that they were stealing for layups, so just clean up a little bit, and then that's what we did, and it worked out.
There were a few times when you guys really locked down on defense while your offense were figuring things out. How much pride does this team take in their defense?
I mean, good defense turns into good offense. So obviously you want to have really good defense and then, like I just said, like carry that over and not turn the ball over on offense.
Still a lot of basketball in front of you guys this year. What are some goals that you guys have talked about to finish the season strong?
Just keep winning games, continue to work as hard as we're working, and yeah.
What about you personally? What kind of things do you want to see yourself improve on before the season's over?
I myself would like to calm down a little bit sometimes and talk more a little bit on offense to be there for my teammates when we need to slow down a little bit so that they're not freaking out too much.
You said you want to win more. This one was a big one. How do you use it as momentum heading forward into Saturday?
You just use the word momentum. Keep it and keep practicing hard and show up at our games.
Mckenzie, congratulations on the win and player of the game.
Thank you.
That was Mckenzie Riccitelli. She scored 12 last night in Boardman's win over Warren Harding to lead the team. Emma Mills also in double figures with 11. Boardman once again will play at East on Saturday to try to keep that momentum alive. Let's continue with our final scores from last night, and all eyes were in Canfield, as this was not just a battle between two teams in the top of the AAC. It wasn't just a game that carried a lot of weight as far as the AAC standings go. It's also a game that it was very much perceived that it was going to be a milestone game. Alyssa Pompilia needed about 5 points to get 1,000 in her career, and everyone kind of knew it was a foregone conclusion that she was going to get it against Canfield. Of course, you never want to take things for granted. But we were there. Richie Giuliano had a great call. She got her 1,000th point before halftime on a three-pointer from the wing. It bounced in. It's always funny how those 1,000-point ones always just kind of find their way into the hoop. And she got that. They had that moment with her team, and then they had a dogfight on their hands, man. Howland hit some free throws down the stretch. It was tied at 33 at one point. They ended up winning 40-38. 2 free throws at the end of the game really neutralized Alyssa Dill's really cool and really impressive buzzer beater from about a quarter court length that went in and counted for 3, but it was meaningless because Canfield still lost 40-38. It gave Alyssa Dill the game high. She led Canfield with the game high 14 points. Pompilia had 12 for the Tigers, so she is now 1,007 in her career. And she becomes, I believe, the first person in the Howland program to get to 1,000 points since 2017. And that was the program's leading scorer, by the way. They got all the way up to 1,700 plus back in 2017. So it's been a while for Howland. It's been a couple years. Pompilia becomes another one to add to their 1,000-point club in Tiger Country. Richie Giuliano had the chance to catch up with her and Coach Pounds after the game. Let's start with the coach and hear what they had to say in their post-game press conference.
Here with Coach Aaron Pounds after a big victory against Canfield. Coach, on the road, a big-time victory tonight, made some adjustments down the stretch. Just talk about what this means to your program here tonight.
It's huge. We had some really close games early on, lost by 1 to Kent Hoover, lost by 3 to Salem. But I feel that kind of prepared us for tonight against Canfield. These girls, I couldn't be prouder of them. So they learned from their experience in the past, and they buckled down, and they fought tooth and nail every second of the game. So
now you're a senior-heavy team. Just talk about how much that helped you down the stretch, making some big-time free throws in big moments.
It's huge. I mean, listen, if there was ever a game where it had nothing to do with the X's and O's or the coaches and all about the Jimmys and Joes, that was an example of it right there. That was all the girls. The girls played their butts off. They fought for everything. I'm calling stuff, and they're executing. So really, really, really proud of them.
Now, Pompilia surpasses 1,000 points here tonight. What was that moment for you as a coach? You only played 14 games last year, so 1,000 or during her career has been pretty impressive so far.
It's huge. So her first 2 years, some of that credit goes to Coach John Neal. He played her and kind of mentored her, and I got to be the lucky one to be with her junior and senior year. That girl would show up at the gym to lift weights 5 a.m. in the morning early before school. She would go with her dad during shutdown last year and shoot 1,000 shots a week, 100 and some a day, 500 a day. So that's just, kids that score 1,000 points, they're different. They're just a different kind of kid. And they put in the work and they put in the effort and they deserve everything they get. So she deserves every accolade she's got coming.
Coach, big win for you tonight. Congrats, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Here with Alyssa Pompalia, our player of the game, and she surpassed 1,000 career points with Howland. Just talk about that feeling, getting that bucket to fall.
It's crazy. It's surreal. It's like the best feeling in the world. Just knowing all your hard work paid off. And yeah.
How your dad was able to share that moment with you on the sideline. Just talk about what that was like, hugging your dad.
He's probably more happy than I am, and I'm really happy for myself. He's pushed me and helped me to get to where I am today.
Now just talk about this game tonight overall. Defensively, you guys were really stout against Canfield, and a big win for you. You haven't beaten the Cardinals in a long time.
We haven't beat them since my freshman year, so 3 years ago. We came ready to play, and we knew we could get it done, and we did.
Now moving forward, you have a chance to be top 5 all-time in Howland scoring history. Just talk about what that would mean to you as a player.
It would mean a lot to me. All the girls who have already broke the record, they were all really good players of Howland, so just knowing I get to join them means a lot to me.
And now also your grandparents in attendance tonight. They have the sign for you. Just talk about that.
They support me so much, and I'm so thankful for all of them, my whole family that came. It just means a lot to me.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
That was Alyssa Pompalia with Richie Giuliano and Coach Pounce with Richie. Richie did a great job last night. Great call. And he always does a great job. He'll be back for Canfield's game on Saturday as they host Cheney. Howland has no time to rest. They have to come right back in tonight, and they will host a scrappy Cardinal Mooney team. This is an interesting matchup, and we'll talk about it a little bit later when we do our picks. But, you know, it's that classic layover game where you have a big emotional night. You get a big win against a conference rival that you haven't beaten in a while. Can you not ride that roller coaster, stay even, as Coach Bailey of Salem Soccer loves to say? Can you stay even and put together a strong game against a Cardinal Mooney team that is definitely good enough to beat you if you don't show up to play? Ty Bartel, we appreciate you sticking in the comments and taking time over your vacation to watch with us here on Running Point. We hope that Florida's going well. We definitely hope that you get back very soon. We'll continue with our final scores from last night as once again Howland beats Canfield 40-38 down the stretch. Louisville, can we say enough about these girls in the week they're having? They go in on Saturday. They go on the road. They beat New Philadelphia, a team that was at that point 9-1 on the season. New Philly already won over West Branch by 7 earlier in the season. Very good New Philadelphia Quakers team. And Louisville beats them 53-46 on Saturday on the road. They bounced back from that one, and they beat Marlington at home last night, 45-40. The Dukes coming in with a state-ranked, belt on their chest. They just had their first loss of the year last week against West Branch, and now the Dukes fall again to Louisville. And it was freshman Courtney Branker getting the team lead. She hit 4 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, and she finished the game with 16. 2 other players, Kelsey Adelman and Brooke Heron, both in double figures with 12 apiece. So Louisville, once again, that balanced scoring that me and Ty always talk about. They have so many ways to beat you, and they had plenty of ways to beat Marlington last night. They get the win, and this is one that's going to make the power rankings pretty interesting when they come out. When they come out this week, I want to take another look at this because I'm going to bring up the power rankings graphic. As soon as I find this dang cursor, it always gets lost on me. These power rankings are about to get really interesting. I want to look at, especially on the girls' side this week with what's happened. Let's look at the graphic for this week's girls' rankings. You see Salem at 1 right there, West Branch 2, Poland 3. None of those teams have lost this week. They've all taken care of business. But you see Liberty at 4, who dropped from 2 to 4 this week. But what they did this week is they just said, hey, champion, you're sitting there undefeated in the MVAC 2. You're right on our heels. We're going to beat you by 30. So they emphatically get a win. You see Louisville right behind them at 5. Louisville just beat New Philadelphia on Saturday. They beat Marlington on Wednesday. You got to think they're going to get some respect for those 2 wins back-to-back. Howland's on the move up. Canfield just lost to Howland, but how far are they going to drop for losing to the team that's only 1 spot behind them? Can champion Brookfield and Garfield all stay in the power rankings? It gets so interesting. Garfield beat Brookfield on Monday, so you got to think out of those three, that's the team that's going to move up a little bit. Is there anyone below them that maybe kind of works their way back into it? It's going to be fun. I gotta say, when I'm looking at this, I said it on Tuesday. I don't know if Liberty's going to stay at 4. I think they jump back up, in my opinion, to 2 at least. When you beat the team that's right behind you, undefeated in the MVAC, when you beat them by 30 emphatically, that's a statement win. And then you look at, like, what do you do with the teams that I don't want to hurt teams for beating who they should beat, but you just kind of go through the motions. You beat the teams that you're quote unquote better than on paper. What do you do with those teams compared to the teams that go and beat the competitive teams that are right on their heels? It's a question that needs to be answered, and it's going to be interesting to see how our people vote tonight. Well, not tonight, but this weekend. Look at Ty. He wants to see Louisville at the very least number 3. And Poland, once again, they're playing tonight against Niles, and that's a team that they, on paper, should beat. They're not going to get a lot of style points for beating Niles. So you never know. This could be very mixed up, and it won't be a discredit to the teams that get jumped. It'll just be quite simply other teams below you had really impressive wins. I agree with Ty. I think Louisville, after 2 back-to-back wins against, I believe Marlington was 9-1 too, coming into last night. So 2 9-1 teams. I feel like that should earn at least top 3 respect. Yeah, and then Ty brings up a good point. Howland right now, they're definitely going to break the top 5, but then where do you put them in the top 5? Do you put them ahead of Poland? Do you put them ahead of Liberty? Do you drop Liberty? I would not drop Liberty. I wouldn't, but obviously I didn't put them at number 4 either. Does Liberty, kind of stay in the 2? Do they stay in the 4? Howland jump to 5, maybe. But if Howland jumps to 5, Louisville would have to, in my opinion, go to 3 with Poland. And then where do you put Poland? I mean, you can't drop them too far. It's chaos. It's absolute chaos. I feel like Louisville right now is kind of like the Joker in The Dark Knight when he's talking to Two-Face and he says, "I'm an agent of chaos." And Ty brings up a good point. If strength of schedule is going to be something that can drop Liberty, it's something that can drop anyone. I mean, it just on the week. I mean, when you play teams that you should beat during the week, is that going to drop you for the week? West Branch does have a huge game on Saturday against the Doylestown Chippewa team that is, always in that D3 regional tournament. They're a D3 contender. It's going to be interesting to see that game. Usually West Branch in recent history, they've played Doylestown a couple years in a row, and they've had that number. I mean, it's D3 to D2, and West Branch usually takes care of business. But we'll see what Chippewa brings to the table. And that game will happen before we vote on the power rankings. So still Saturday games, still tonight's games to happen. I mean, teams have to take care of business. Liberty will be on the road against a Crestview team that I believe has won 5 of the last 6. So Liberty can't stub their toe, of course. And it's going to be interesting to see how these power rankings kind of shape up. I think last night, and I think last night really made them really murky on what you want to do, especially with that top 5. So I just wanted to bring that up real quick while we had the time to talk about the power rankings. But now let's continue with our final scores. We talked about West Branch. They went to Carrollton this time around. The first time around in Beloit, Carrollton scared the bejesus out of West Branch. They won by 4 points last time. They take care of business on the road this time, 54-41. West Branch, no problems in Carrollton. And then we have Salem. They got the win over Canton South. And that final score was, hold on for a minute, I lost the page, so I have to reload it. And that's, of course, how it goes on Glitch Gremlin Thursday, that we already had issues getting on late. So here we go with more, and that's how my day is going. But we look at the score from Salem, and they were able to get the win over Canton South, 49-29. And hey, there's a shocker. Another game that Salem holds a team under 30. They just keep on keeping on with that defense. It's so fast. It's so quick. It rotates so well. It gives so many people problems. And that it's just every time I think, well, this offense is going to maybe score a little bit against Salem. Nope. And that's why I would be so interested to see a Salem Liberty matchup, because I think it's polar opposite to styles. Liberty wants to run. They want to run and gun. They don't run a lot of offensive sets. Their offense is based on their athleticism and their speed. And this year, that's exactly what Salem's defense is also based on: quickness, speed, ability to rotate. So it would be very interesting to see a Liberty-Salem matchup. And as of now, that's not happening. But, we don't want to root for, cancellations. But the good thing about cancellations, or the fun thing about them, is sometimes you get some matchups that you don't expect. We've already seen that this year. We saw it a lot last year. So I am not discluding the possibility that we could see a Salem Liberty matchup at some point this year, but not scheduled, at least. We continue our scores. Cheney got the win over Heartland Christian, 38-28. The Cowgirls right off in the sunset with that win there. The Urban Scholar boys, the only boys game last night, they get the win over East Palestine, 66-50. And the final score of the night, Campbell Memorial. Remember the first time they played Sebring? It was the first game of the year, and Sugar hit a buzzer beater 3 to give Campbell the win, and it was probably one of the most exciting kickoffs to a season you could ever ask for. Well, they did not need a buzzer beater this time. They take care of Sebring on the road, 44-18. Kayla Marshall has 19 to lead the Red Devils, and they roll to their third win of the season. So for stories, stats, and more, you can always head over to ysnlive.com, and you can also check out our social media pages at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and everything else to see final score graphics and more on YSN Live. So we'll take our first break of the day. On the other end, we'll get ready for our interview, Coach's Corner, and live interview with Deidre Watson of the Liberty Leopards. Don't go anywhere. That's next on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you. And once again, I want to remind everyone that Ty Bartell is on vacation, so we are without him, but we are with the head coach of the now still undefeated Liberty Leopards girls basketball team, Deidre Watson. Coach, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
We're doing good. We love that we're having the chance to talk with you, and we have been loving covering the Liberty girls basketball team this year. It's been a fun ride so far. We had you on earlier in the season to kind of preview the year. Is this something that was ever in your crystal ball, an undefeated start in this tough conference?
I knew it was a possibility. It just comes down to how the girls are going to respond to adversity, how they're going to play together, and all things have aligned, and they're playing so well right now. I can't be more proud.
And I love that you said adversity, because I think that was one of the big talking points in your coach's corner earlier when we were previewing the season. The growth from this year to last year, how the girls will handle adversity, how they'll ride that roller coaster and try to stay as even as possible. They've had adversity this year, 2-point win against Brookfield, 3-point win against Garfield. It hasn't been, cruising the whole time. Talk about what you've seen from the maturity of these girls. And even though they're young as far as class, they have really grown as far as maturity and experience on the floor.
I could just say, last year it would be a situation if we were down going into the fourth quarter, or the referee may be called a bad foul in their opinion, they would just stop playing. They wouldn't compete back. This year, when we've been in those circumstances, I've challenged them to respond, compete, block everything out, and they've risen to the occasion. And that's just a part of their mental toughness now.
Coach, was there a point in this season that you thought was a big momentum boost to them, or maybe a point when they saw, okay, we're putting together something special and really started to pick up steam?
Yeah, I'm going to say about game 4, they kind of thought, you know what, we looked at the rest of the schedule. They kind of looked at what the other teams were doing, and they said, let's go undefeated this year. We can do this. The Brookfield game was a big game for them. The Garfield game was a big game for them. And this champion game, they really responded. So they're locked in, and it's all them. Honestly, I feel like I'm an okay coach, but it's them. It's them. They have a different mindset.
Let's talk about this champion game. The last time you guys were on the floor, this is a champion team. They're very good. They came in undefeated in the MVAC, right on your heels. Their only loss was to a Howland. And you guys just emphatically put your foot down in this game. Was it the best performance you've seen from your girls? And if so, was it something that you think will really ride them into the rest of the season?
They put everything together against champion. Sometimes they kind of feel like they're the underdog, or they're not respected, or just not expected to win. And I think that's also giving them an extra edge. In the locker room before champion, we just talked about all the things we needed to do to win. They executed beyond my expectations. There was a point when I was on the sideline, and I said, okay, they're kind of doing this without me. They were calling plays, calling audibles, picking up on cues that I didn't even really have to tell them about.
When you have something like that, where you realize that obviously as a coach, you realize they're putting together something special on the floor, and maybe you can relax and focus on some other things that go deeper into the game. What kind of a blessing is that as a coach to have leaders on the floor and almost have second coaches on the floor that can make those adjustments?
Yeah, the biggest thing was in 2020 we lost our point guard. She'd been there for 4 years, and so last year. Both of them people were kind of hesitant to take the role. I have to say, Sienna Smith has stepped up, and she's done an amazing job. She's directing traffic. She's recognizing mismatches on the floor. And so for me, I don't have to shout about those things anymore. Now I'm trying to coach up our bench staff. I'm trying to look at, different plays that maybe we can do. And I don't have to spend all my extra time on court things that really, if you have a solid point guard, you don't have to do. And so Sienna stepped up amazingly.
A lot of coaches, we bring them on, we can talk about maybe one player that's lighting it up for them or one player that's really leading them statistically, but you're blessed that we can talk about 3 or 4 different players that are all averaging double figures for you. When we previewed this season, you talked about some of the leaders that you thought would step up for you and you expected to step up, but now that we're a little bit past the halfway mark, talk about some of the leaders that have stepped up and the people that have really taken the mantle of leadership for your team this year.
Well, Demi Watson, Sienna Smith, and Aaliyah Foster, I always call them my 3-headed monster. And they are. They have so many skills in their tool belt. You can't, sometimes a player's just a shooter. They can shoot, they can drive, they have strong finishing moves. They're great passers. And I've never been blessed with 3 more athletic players with those 3. But then there's, more importantly, Jordan Banks. A lot of players always just look at points and things like that, but Jordan is a defensive monster. She really runs my defense. She always takes on the hardest assignment. She makes sure the girls are in their place. There's Kylie Thomas. She's also one of my defensive players. She has a lot of grit about her. She's always willing to do the dirty work at 5'3". She plays like she's 6 feet. My starting 5 are so tough. Then, I have a great bench personnel. There's Mia Parker, Tiana Weatherly, and Gianna Micheline. I have a strong 8.
Let's talk about that defense that you brought up, because I think a lot of people would look at your scores and obviously, rightfully so, want to look at your offense. I think you're averaging probably in the 60s per. You have several games in the 70s. But this defense isn't a slouch. They've been holding teams down. That champion game, the defense played really well, held them to under 40. What have you seen from your defense that complements that offense so well?
Well, we always preach that defense creates offense. I think we focus on practice more on defense than maybe offense at this point. Really focus on getting on top of screens, staying in front of your player, and good communication. And Jordan's right at the helm of that. We talk about where their shooters are and being in the right spot at the right time. We started the season in a zone maybe for 1 or 2 games. And it kind of made us a little bit lazy. So I challenged them to start going man to man and being more active. And that's helped them out tremendously because it challenges them to be more active. Sometimes in a zone, you can kind of sit around, and when you sit around, you kind of get scored on. And so, they've just risen to the occasion anytime I challenge them.
Let's talk about how much fun you have on the sideline. We've been to games. I've been to games. You're definitely an energetic coach that likes to have fun. How fun has this season been for you to be on the sidelines during this win streak and this awesome start for you guys?
It's been amazing. It's amazing this year. People are saying, "What's your recipe? What are you doing?" And I just put it back on the girls. I mean, it's really them. I sit back sometimes, and I'm a fan too. Like sometimes they'll hit a move or they'll make an excellent pass, and I'm me, I'm very loud and vocal, so I cheer them like, "Good move, great job."
That's what we love about watching you, Coach. What about some of the things that you want to improve on or you want to kind of build on as we go into the second half of the season? Obviously, the difference between good teams and great teams are the ability to always stay hungry and always want to improve themselves. So despite the undefeated start, I'm sure there are things that on your checklist of things that you want to see your girls do a little bit better.
Absolutely. I always say rebounding is one of the areas that we look at all the time. A rebound is an extra shot. It's an extra possession. So those are one of the things that we constantly focus on. We're not blessed with anyone that's overly tall. And so we try to make sure that everyone's boxing out and just good communication on defense. Another thing that we look at is our points per possession. We try to keep that at about 1.1. So those are some of the analytics that we look at after every game. And also our field goal percentage. We try to keep that above 50%.
I love the analytics game that you're bringing to some numbers on Running Point. When you talk about trying to keep these girls with a level head, I know they said early in the season when they looked at their schedule, we want to get undefeated. That's going to be a focus. But now, they're tasting success a little bit. How have they been able to keep a level head and keep very, balanced that, balance, the I lost the word I was looking for, but you know what I'm talking about. Like keep the level head through the undefeated start.
If you're talking about getting a big head, I definitely bring them down to earth every practice. And that's where the analytics come in. We may have won a game by 30, but look, they beat us maybe in deflections. They beat us in rebounds. So I always challenge them to do best. Another thing that we talk about, I feel like any team can beat any team at any given day. So you have to come ready and prepared. And we don't take our competition lightly at any game. Sometimes a team will come in, oh, this is going to be an easy win. You never know what's going to happen. So I challenge them right off the gate to make sure our presence is known.
Confidence was the word I was looking for, Coach.
Yeah.
Staying confident without getting overly confident. That's a delicate balance.
Exactly.
Let's talk about this game tonight that you're traveling to Crestview. Crestviews won, I believe, 5 of their last 6. A little bit of a streaking team. What's it going to take? Preview this matchup without giving up like the farm. Go into your game plan a little bit too.
Yeah, well, Crestview's young, but they're very tall. They're scrappy, and they defend well. So that's a team that we have to watch out for. We can't come in slack. We have to make sure that we box out. We play good defense, and we control the pace of the game.
Talk about playing on the road and how well these girls are able to build their own energy and kind of come into road warriors and have that chip on their shoulder on the road. I think some of their best games have come away from your home court.
Yeah, playing at home, it has its plus and minuses. When you're playing at home, they're distracted by their friends from school. They're talking to them on the bench. On the road, I guess the atmosphere is a little bit more against them. And so they know they have to focus a little bit harder. So I think on the road, we've proven to be more successful because we've been more focused.
All right, now let's talk about at home, because I know this community has supported you guys so well, and obviously, when you win, people come. So, what's it been like? What's it been like seeing this community come out and really support these girls and really getting energy in your home floor?
I think it's good for the girls. They really appreciate when people come and support them more than anything. I've said at times they feel like they've been the underdog or overlooked, and so the support just boosts them up that much more.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, I know this is a question that Ty always likes to ask, and he's on vacation, so we'll ask it for him. But if there's anyone in that Liberty community that is on the fence or thinking about going to Liberty girls basketball, what would you say the selling point is to get them there?
I always tell people that Liberty girls basketball is not slow, robotic, and boring. It's high energy. It's fun. You're going to see some athletic things, and you're going to see some amazing things. So come check us out.
I tell you, some of the moves that especially Aaliyah Foster has to the hoop.
Yeah,
blowing my mind watching on YSN Live. I can't wait to get out there to a game for live and instead of watching on the screen. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Congratulations on the great start, and good luck the rest of the way. I'm sure we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That was Deidre Watson, the head coach of the Liberty Leopards, currently undefeated on the season and sitting at number 4 in the YSN power rankings as we venture into week 6 of those power rankings. And like we talked about before her interview, those power rankings could get very murky and very interesting coming this week, because there were a lot of big wins by a couple of teams that were in the middle of the pack in those power rankings this week. So stay tuned, especially next week for the power rankings brought to you by our good friends over at Armida's Cucina. We're going to take our second break of the day. When we come back, we have a lot of in the can pre-recorded interviews that we're going to play for you, a lot of debuts, a lot of great conversations. So don't miss that. We'll be right back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-res futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
A severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sugman here, director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you, reminding you once again, Ty Bartell on vacation. We are so jealous because he is in the Florida heat. Hopefully it's Florida heat, not Florida rain. One thing about Florida that you know, although, is that it's probably going to rain once a day, but usually it rains for maybe an hour and then it subsides. So hopefully Ty's having fun. He signed into the show a couple of times earlier, and now we're going to continue this Thursday episode. And before we get to our coaches' corners and player profile, I got some catching up to do from post-game interviews from Tuesday night. Boardman got the really big win over Canfield, and it was one where their offense really exploded and found a lot of rhythm. Anthony Romo had the chance to catch up with head coach Pat Birch and Trey DePietro after the win. Let's hear what they had to say after their win over Canfield.
Anthony Romo here with Boardman head coach Pat Birch after the Spartans' 71-47 victory over Canfield tonight. Coach, having at least four guys in double figures on the scoring end, just talk about how dangerous you guys can be when everyone's clicking on offense.
Yeah, when we get a little bit of flow going offensively, it creates some opportunities. It's kind of been our mystery all year. I know we have some guys that could score it. We haven't always been consistent, evidenced by our last game. We got 34. We doubled that tonight. I was more proud of our defense in the second half. I thought in the first half we were a step slow. We weren't closing out the shooters. We challenged them at halftime to come out and really defend. I think we gave up like 14 in the second half. So I'm more proud of that than probably the scoring. The scoring is going to come and go, but if you could defend every night, you got a chance.
Let's talk a little bit about Anthony Hightower's performance tonight, coming off the bench. He can run in transition with anyone here in the area. Just talk about what he brings to the team.
Yeah, he brings a spark for us off the bench. He's obviously a great athlete that can finish around the rim. When he starts going, it gets us going a little bit too. And he's owning that role right now. He's been in the starting lineup a little bit, coming off the bench right now, and I think he's doing a great job with that.
And a little bit about Trey DePietro, just how big he is and how good he can handle the ball, bringing the other team's big out upon the perimeter. Just how does your team feed off of that when he's clicking?
Yeah, he's our guy that we center a lot of things around, and you mentioned his versatility. He does a really good job inside out. And I still think he's got a lot of steps to go as a player, and he knows that. He's working hard. I think by the end of the year, we need him to be his best, and we'll be at our best, hopefully.
Your boys now 6-5 on the year, back over 500 after having a little bit of a losing skid. Just what's the ceiling for this team?
Yeah, you mentioned it. We started off strong. We had a little bit of skid there in December, lost to some good teams. We got into conference play here, and our focus has honestly been just one game at a time. We know conference is so important. Going on the road and getting conference wins is very important. So, our next focus is to learn from this game. We have Mooney on Saturday, who's playing really well, and that's the most important game on our schedule right now.
Anthony Romo with Trey DePietro, tonight's YSN player of the game after Boardman's 71-47 victory over Canfield tonight. Trey, another big night, scoring 17 points. Just what was clicking on the offensive end for you guys tonight?
Did we miss a three-pointer in the first half? I swear we didn't miss. Everyone was scoring, and it's kind of nice when everyone scores on the team. So it was just an awesome offensive experience there.
You guys had a great start to the season, then had a little bit of a skid with a losing streak. Just how does it feel getting back over 500 and gaining some momentum?
It feels amazing. You know, our coach told us 2022 is our year, and we really we've taken that in stride. I feel really happy about the way we've been playing past couple games, and I hope to continue playing down the road like that.
You guys had at least 4 guys in double figures on the offensive scoring end tonight. Just talk about the balanced attack that you guys have, and when all of you guys are hot, just how dangerous you can be.
Well, it's awesome. I mean, Hightower, he could slash anytime on anyone. Luke Ryan, I swear he doesn't miss. And Seth, he just runs the ball super well. I mean, I love all of them. They've been playing great.
Trey DePietro, tonight's Ysn Player of the Game.
So that was head coach Pat Birch and Trey DePietro after Boardman's 71-47 win over Canfield. And you heard Coach Birch say how happy he was with the scoring, but how even more happy he was that the defense intensity stepped up after a lackluster first half from their defense. It's a defensive-minded team. They're happy getting into games where they can only they hold teams down to 20, 28, 26. And we saw that earlier this year against Poland. But I'm sure for mojo and for rhythm, it felt good to see that offense really start to score. 71 points on the night for Boardman. They get the win over Canfield. And now, without further ado, we will have debut of Coach's Corner, Episode 3, with Nick Blanche, head coach of the Poland girls basketball team. Let's hear what he had to say with me earlier this week, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation with the head coach of the Poland girls team. Anthony Hartwig here with you for Episode 3 of Coach's Corner with Nick Blanche of the Poland girls basketball program, brought to you by WRS Wealth Advisors. Nick, thank you so much for taking the time this week.
Thanks for having me.
Man, we get to talk to you a lot, but here we are halfway through the season. The last time we had a structured Coach's Corner, we were talking about the challenges that you still have ahead of you, and you still have plenty ahead of you, but now you've faced some. You've passed a lot of tests. Halfway through the season, how would you grade this team and how they're doing this year?
Oh, definitely an A. I mean, these kids are doing a great job. And like I said, I know a lot of people focus on the wins and losses and whatnot. And we've been fortunate enough to win quite a few so far this year, but there's more to it than that. The growth these kids have shown throughout the year from where we started, even as little things like leadership, like their abilities to bring other kids along and help them and guide them. It's been tremendous. Our work ethics and practice, and we're dealing with, like everybody else, this COVID issues. I mean, we had our first practice earlier this week for the first time in over 2 weeks with everybody on our team actually there. So that's interesting. I mean, we played a game with 7 kids out. So that was another obstacle to overcome, and our kids stepped up to the plate. So, I mean, we just continue to rise, above the adversity here, and I'm most proud of that. Like I said, the wins are a nice bonus to it, but that's not what all I'm looking at when I'm giving our grade. Our grade is based on our effort and our attitudes, and they have been tremendous. And it all starts with our 3 seniors, and it just trickles down throughout the program. And I could not be more pleased with where we're at right now.
Earlier in the season, you dropped the first game of your year to West Branch, but you still had a tough week ahead after that. Do you think that was the turning point of this year, where they didn't let one loss turn into 2, turn into 3, but this younger team took the one loss, they learned from it, and they battled the next week and got back into winning, got their confidence right back, and really never looked back from that point?
I believe that one of our top moments of our season was that game against West Branch, because we were down by double digits multiple times throughout that game. And all we kept talking about in the timeouts, we'd make an adjustment and then just keep saying, hey, keep playing. There's time on the clock. Keep going. Because kids a lot of times will pack it in and be like, oh, man, we're done. We're down by 13. We're down by 14. This one's over. And our kids kept plugging away, and we cut it down to 3 at one point in the fourth quarter. And we had opportunities after that off of turnovers and misses by West Branch, and we just couldn't convert on our end either. We just got off to a real sluggish start, and we got down big. And against good teams like West Branch, it's tough to come back in situations like that. But that was very big for us and big for me to see what kind of team I really had. Like, now you're dealing with true adversity. Are you going to pout and feel bad for yourself, or are you going to suck it up and try to fight your way through till the end and see what happens? And that really was a good thing for our program to experience. Our bench was still into it and cheering on as if we were up by 10. And then we got to the point where we played Canfield shortly after, and that time we were down by 10, 12 points as well, multiple times throughout the game. And then with like a little over 3 minutes left in the game, we were down by double digits against a very good Canfield team, but we were fortunate enough to pull that one out. But again, the grit and determination, the never quit attitude, that's awesome. And I think that's the first time this year we experienced that against West Branch. And the fact that we almost pulled that one out and came back against such a good team really showed our girls that, hey, as long as there's time on the clock, we have a chance. And as a coach, that's all you want from your kids. Just try your best.
And here we are, halfway through the NE8 season. You've played every team once. You've gotten through it. You're still at the top. You're undefeated in the league so far. What have you seen from your team in this league play? What have you seen from the league in the league play? And what challenges do you think face you now that you're starting to play teams the second time around?
Well, the league is always going to be competitive, and we're all experiencing the same issues with we never know who's going to have who, from game to game. We've had several JV games canceled, which of course stinks for both schools. Shortened JV games because not enough kids, the COVID contact tracing issues and all of that. So that's obviously the biggest issue that everybody has to deal with right now. But as far as the league itself, like I said, any given night, anything can happen. We know we're always going to take everybody's best shot. We're still seeing a variety of different strategies when we see these teams. And again, that's game planning, paying attention to detail in practice and being ready. Because like I said, we rotate around 10 kids in. So, when you get any variety of kids on the floor, they have to know what they're doing in order to be successful. So our kids continue to pay attention to detail, and our first goal of the season obviously is to try and clinch up that NE8 conference championship, and then we go into tournament play, which that draw is already about 2 weeks away, which is crazy enough to think about. But it's winding down quickly. I'm just hoping for our seniors' sake that we get as close to 22 games in as possible in the regular season. I'm hoping we get all 22 in, but every day is a new battle. And every time that phone rings, I cringe a little bit because I never know what's coming and what that phone call is going to state. So we're doing the best we can, just like everybody else, and hoping for the best.
Has this year been any different than last year? Because, we dealt with COVID last year too, and it was the same thing. You never knew when the phone call was coming that, hey, the other team can't make it, or hey, you guys are contact, or whatever it may be. This year it's the same thing, but you also have this sense of normalcy. Everyone's back in the gym. The fans are there. Is it harder to balance it? Is it harder to accept the reality? Or is it pretty much, hey, we learned from it last year and we're trying to get through it as best we can?
We're trying to get through it as best we can, just like everybody else. But it's I want to say it's getting more frustrating now, just because I thought by last year that we've passed this hurdle, and I thought it would be gone by now. I was hoping more than anything, and it's just not. And there's no signs of the finish line, and you're just frustrated. And there's always seniors at every school who this is their last go round, and if things get canceled, they don't get to make it up. That's less experiences those kids get to have with one another and their teammates. And these kids put in so much time that you want them to have every opportunity possible. So we're doing the best we can with it, just like everyone else. And I know the coaches are all frustrated, but every game we can get in, every practice we can get in, like I said, a couple days ago, that was our first time together in over 2 weeks with everybody. So, it's crazy. But hopefully this thing gets away and we can finally get back to normal here, hopefully next season. But I sound like a Browns fan, which is maybe next year. We'll get them next year. But, that's all we're doing to this point, and hoping for the best, buddy, hoping for the best.
The coaching cliche is control the controllables. In a game, you can't control everything. You can't necessarily control the shots go in. But now I imagine that message is bigger than just inside a game with these kids. Control the controllables, do what you can to stay healthy, but at the end of the day, things are out of your control, and you can't worry about those types of circumstances.
Yeah, we have absolutely no control over that. I mean, people have to go to work, and when they come home, they're bringing things home. And sometimes, we have parents that are positive, and, then the kids have to wear masks and do certain things based on what's going on in their household. Nobody's trying to go out and get anything, but it's from passing a basketball around in practice. Somebody could have something. I mean, I'm disinfecting basketballs on a daily basis. And our custodial staff at Poland is going above and beyond. They're doing everything, and I'm going in there before and after practices with my disinfecting stuff and clearing off as much as we can, door handles, lockers, basketballs, you name it. I mean, I'm just trying to overdo it as best we can. But anything, shaking hands at the end of a game, you never know, guarding somebody. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I have no idea how this is happening, but just every day. I mean, we played Jefferson the other day, and the day of the game, I mean, they were like, we only have 8 kids in school today. So that was all they had. So the JV game got canceled, and we did what we could just to play the game. I mean, it's just crazy how just in one day so much can change. And we've experienced it here as well. Like I said, we've already had a game where 7 kids were down. And it's just like, what do you do with that? You just play with what you got and you go with it. Any given day, anything can happen to anybody. So, yeah, just continuing to hope for the best and get as close to 22 games in as we can for these seniors.
Talk about your team in particular, their morale through all this that we've been talking about, and how you think they've handled this adversity mentally, because I think mental health through all this with the students is just as important as their physical health, because it's hard to go through all this. So how have they handled it as far as a morale standpoint, as far as a staying positive standpoint through all this craziness?
We've just talked constantly about appreciating the time we do have together, because anything can happen. I mean, there's some schools that have shut down, and then they've closed their schools, shut down their sports for a week, some for 2 weeks. So we've seen some of that as well. And we know we're not exempt from any of that either. I mean, it could be us one day if it gets bad enough. So just appreciate the time you do have. And again, it starts with my 3 seniors, Abby Farber, Connie Kugris, and Morgan Kluchar. They have been tremendous leaders this year. They have, from where we started to where we're at, it's night and day about their leadership. They are tremendous. And we kind of go to the beat of their drum right now. And then they're leading, they're staying positive. They're being very encouraging and making the most of the opportunities. And it's their senior season. So they know they have the most at risk. If this gets shut down or we lose game opportunities to play, it affects them more than anybody, because they don't get to put the jersey on anymore after this season. So we're halfway through. We're hoping we get 11 more in, and then we have a good tournament run and can do that as much as we can together. But like I said, I give all the credit to those 3. They are doing what they need to do to stay positive for themselves, and everyone else is following suit.
What has the experience been this like? Now let's get back to some positives. I feel like this interview is getting me down a little bit. Some positives, getting the fans back into this gym and getting the support of the Poland community back right behind your back, so you can really feel it. Not that you didn't feel it last year, but it's just, I imagine it's different this year, having them in the gym with you and getting to feed off their energy. What's that been like this year?
Yeah, I've told you several times, our community's fabulous. Even last year when they couldn't be there, they tuned into YSN. They'd watch these games. There'd be text messages, emails, phone calls, to myself, to my other coaches, to the girls. It was phenomenal how well that they tried to still be a part of it. And this year we've had numerous people coming out. We've even had a student section at some of our games, which is phenomenal for girls basketball. You don't get that quite often. And we've had some of that, and just to have that atmosphere for those kids, because they do pay attention to that. And it's nice to see new faces out there and who are excited to be there and take part in it. But we have had numerous staff members come out. Administrators are always there, and we only need one to cover the game. And there's several times we have quite a few administrators there, which says a lot about what our administration is at Poland. But just random community members that are coming out to see what the girls basketball program is all about. And then the ones that were always a part of the program from the community and just couldn't be here last year. And they were chomping at the bit to get in. The only thing that's been difficult is game time announcements, because everyone's thinking 7 o'clock, but then there's sometimes the game's at 6, it's at 6:15, depending on if we had a JV game, a half of a JV game. And you put those announcements out there, but sometimes it's the day of, and not everybody does social media and doesn't hear about it. So I feel bad when they're showing up at 7:00 and we're in the fourth quarter, and that's been the only real bump in the road. But to have everybody be able to come back into the program and in the gym and see everything live, it means a lot to us. It really does, because we're doing our best to represent the community and the school as best we can. So to have them be able to be there and experience the successes with us, it means a lot.
And speaking of coming back, one of my favorite times during the basketball season is this kind of Christmas break, because you get to see a lot of alumni come back into the gym, a lot of players that suited up for you, whether it be 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even further back. What's it mean to you that people that you coach that played for you want to keep coming back and support this program and see what you're doing now with it?
Oh, it's phenomenal. I've always said, I know it's cliche because everyone thinks their program is family and whatnot, but we really believe that here, and that's really the most important part to me. And when kids come home from Christmas break, the amount of phone calls and text messages we get about, hey, can we come in and practice? Now this year, of course, is a little different with the COVID stuff. Still, we kind of kept people at an arm's length, obviously, not because we didn't want them there, but safety reasons. But our lower level kids will come in for break, Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, and they'll go down and help with our 7th and 8th grade and go down there and help out. And you can't put it into words how special that is, because coaches dream of having that. And I'm fortunate enough to be a part of a program that really does do those things. And these younger kids know these kids because they sit in the stands and watch them. They're like, wow, that's her. Oh, man, that's her. She came to our practice. She helped me with the dribbling drill, and the impact those kids have, young ladies, I should say, on the younger kids they have is phenomenal. And I don't think they really understand the impact that they carry. But I know what it means to me. And I also know how excited our girls light up when they do get to see those kids come back. Most of the time this year, it's been from a game standpoint, because at practice, we really couldn't have them come in too much because of COVID issues and whatnot. But when they do see them at games, there's always a lot of hugs and smiles, and that's what it's all about. Just happy to see one another. And it's that family bond that you just can't understand unless you're a part of it.
Coach, the last several years, we've talked about your relationship with the boys, Coach Ken Grisdale. Obviously, they're under new management. They have a couple of big wins this week. What has it been like this year welcoming Eric Fender into the fraternity of head coaches here at Poland and getting to work with him?
Oh, it's always excellent working with any of the Fenders. They're all quality people, and Eric really has high expectations for his program. So it's, there's no drop off from Ken Grisdale and the phenomenal job that he's done. Eric has done a phenomenal job. He has high expectations every day, good work ethic, easy to work with whenever we have to switch things around. He's a team player. He'll do whatever we need for the betterment of the programs. He supports us. We support him. And that's what we want. And the fact that he's an alumni too, he has that Poland pride to him where he knows what this is all about. It's not an outsider coming in trying to figure out the Poland way. He knows what it's all about. He knows how important this community is and how much they back our programs and how much they mean to us. So to have him here, it's been a great transition for me, because I've been with Ken for years. And now the transition over to Eric and the Fender family, it's been just as privileging for me, or just as much of a privilege for me, to be honest with you, because they're just, like I said, great people and very easy to get along with. They're team players and they're always willing to work with us.
Let's talk about some of your players. We've talked about so many over the course of the season, whether it be through your post-game interviews or to these coaches' corners, but I definitely want to make sure everyone kind of gets their time to get talked about. This girl that I want to talk about next, every time she gets in the game, I feel like she makes some kind of impactful play, whether it be taking a charge at South Range or getting like 6 points in a row during the last stretch of a game. Let's talk about Leanne Williams and what she brings off the bench and what she brings to this program.
Well, sis, she's a coach's kid. Her dad's the old football coach over at Poland, and she gets it. She's always, even when she was just a JV player last year, she would always watch the films of the JV games, upcoming opponents, and whenever we had that, and she gets the background of it. Tough-nosed kid. She knows that her skill levels still need to improve in a lot of areas, but her heart, it's already at full throttle. She goes in and gives you every single thing that she has, and very physical, won't back down from anybody. And she always does everything to the best of her ability. And like I said, when we go in there, I always feel confident putting her in the basketball game because I know she's not going to back down and she's going to do everything that she can to help us. And when she's not on the floor, she's the loudest mouth we have on the bench, constantly cheering. Again, she's always in the game. And that's what I like about her. I mean, we're going to get everything we can. She's going to be a great one for us in the next couple of years. Again, I don't care about the points and whatnot. She'll pitch in what she can, but she's going to rebound. She's going to defend, and she's going to be tough nose to go up against for whoever goes up against her. But we definitely, the future's bright for her. And like I said, I'm grateful that she's on my side.
That's got to be something that you're so proud of, that you said her energy is even high, if not higher, when she's on the bench as it is when she's on the floor. Bench energy has always been something you preach. Talk about how proud you are that it just continues to take shape into your program. And she's not the only one, but definitely your bench energy from the players that might not get on the floor as much as they would probably personally want, but they never let that affect what they bring to the team energy-wise and what that means to you.
Yeah, we always talk about that here. You have 32 minutes to do what you want in a game. I mean, you have 32 minutes whether you're on the floor or off the floor. What are you going to do? If you get subbed out or you're not in, are you going to sit there with your arms crossed and show your disgust? You're going to go to the last seat on the bench to let everybody know that, you're not happy that you're not in. That says enough about you. But when you do those things, when I see people doing those things, that preaches volumes. And with me, you'll stay there because I don't give in to those things. I'm going to sit here and sulk. Well, you can stay there and keep sulking because that's not what we're about here. Cheer for your teammates because they cheer for you when you're on the floor. And we have kids that buy into that. It's what they've grown up with in this program. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. And if it does, hopefully I'm not around to see it because it'd be very depressing to see that downfall because they're just as important. The kids feed off of that energy on the floor, and to know that, okay, we're going to make the next play. And when we do, we've got 10 people on the bench plus the coaches cheering and screaming and clapping for me. And I know they have my back. That means a lot to these kids.
Coach, before we let you go, one of the things that we want to end with, it is the new year. We're about a week into a new year. So what were some New Year's resolutions for this team? Things that you wanted to see improved, even though it's hard to pick apart. You probably had to dig a little bit deeper than a couple of teams. Things that you want to improve on, things that you want to do a little bit tick better as we venture into the 2022 section of the season and you gear up for that tournament run that you were talking about a little bit later. So what are some improvements and some things you guys are working on in gym time or in the lab, as some coaches might say, during this new year?
Oh, the biggest one I think is boxing out. I'm not real happy with our rebounding numbers overall. A couple times where got out rebounded by double digits, and I don't think that should ever happen. It's okay to get out rebounded. I mean, it's going to happen sometimes depending on who you're playing, but sometimes it's tough to watch when you're getting out hustled to the loose basketballs, and that's happened to us a couple times, but a couple times too many in my opinion. I want us to get a little bit more physical without fouling. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that to this point, but I still think we need to take it to another level. Those are the two biggest ones on my list. And if I had to pick a third one, it would be just be a little bit more careful with the basketball. We love to pass, and that's a good thing. I mean, we're always looking for the open teammate, but sometimes we're trying to force it in to an area that's not really a good decision at the time. There's defender there, or maybe two, and we hurry up and throw it to try to squeeze it in there real quick, and it's turned into some unnecessary turnovers. So this back part of the season, those would be the three things I would really like to see us clean up here. A little bit better on the box outs and loose balls. Go get them. I'm not trying to tip them lightly. Like, get on the floor, get after it full throttle. The physicality, get up after people a little bit. Don't let them catch the ball, stand there and look around. Get up, right up on them and pressure them and dictate what they're going to do with that basketball, and then of course, like I said, at the end, we just clean up with the physicality and we'll be at another level and take care of that basketball just a little bit better than what we're doing. Still averaging about 12 to 15 turnovers a game. And, most of them, you're going to have that, but I would still like to see that get cut down because we still have a few we'll get an offensive rebound, turn and throw it out, and we'll throw it to somebody who's already covered and turnover, or we throw it to somebody who's not paying attention, or we overthrow it and it goes out of bounds and we give the ball right back. Those little crazy turnovers that I think we can eliminate, just a couple of them each game, I think we'll be just fine going down the stretch.
Coach, what about personal New Year's resolutions? You got any this year?
I got to stop jiggling so much when I walk. So I'm trying to cut down some of these unnecessary meals that I keep finding myself digging into. I don't know who to blame. I'm trying to find somebody else so I can feel better about it. But I'm on that bike Peloton in a way and trying to find different ways to eat and doing all that. I've been doing good for a while, but the holidays killed me. They always kill me. Too many people, they don't bring any veggie trays. They always bring the stuff that makes me jiggle even more when I laugh and when I walk. So I'm trying to cut back on those things. And if I can do that and just continue to be as good as I can as a leader of these kids and my family, I'm okay with that. I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at. I think I do a pretty good job being a positive role model and being there for my family, for my basketball family, and doing the best I can. Just continue to work on my health and hope that, maybe I can have a body like yours one day, Anthony, and be able to do those poses and all those magazine shoots that you get to do with your fine body.
They keep using my body for those shoots, and I keep telling them stop.
Yeah, I know. Every time I see it, I'm like, I wonder if he even gave permission.
You got to balance it though, Coach, because you can't lose that big guy intimidation factor. Because I know some coaches look across the floor and they go, "Oh, he's coming after me."
Yeah, and then there's some guys like Fischel that'll look at me and then he becomes an awe and he gets those love eyes on me, and I'm like, "Come on, Jeff, not now."
You got a second meeting with Jeff pretty soon. It'll be fun to see what he breaks out as far as attire.
Oh yeah, always a good one with him.
He spread a rumor in his coach's corner, that you were going to have a blue suit. You never did, so.
He wants me to. He is adamant that I get a blue suit and then we do a suit game together. I told him I can't do it. I sweat too much. There's no way.
What you got to do is do like a suit during warm-ups and have it be like a tearaway.
I could do that. Now that I would do, or use it as an intimidation, get the girls fired up, take the jacket off and slam it down. But I couldn't wear it like him. He's too calm, cool, and I can't. I'm not as calm and cool as he is.
Coach, always fun. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the coverage.
So you heard it here first. Suit game might be a possibility between South Range and Poland with Nick Blanche and Jeff Fischel. You never know. Nick Blanche did not deny that there was a possibility. Obviously, he denied that he'd wear it during the game, but you might see him pop up in a blue suit for warm-ups to match with Coach Fischel. Who knows? That's something that we're always excited for, and we know that Coach Fisch is one of the best dressed coaches in all the land. We're going to take a break after that long interview, and we'll be right back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
My guy keeps it 100% of the time. He wants all 100, won't settle for 99. And it's more than stats, because there's people in those numbers. And I was one of the lost sheep. I'm so glad he cares for all 100. I'm 100% safe, 100% free, 100% love. I can be 100% me. He gave all 100 when they put him up on that tree. That's 100% passion for 100% free. So if I play in front of 100, or if I play in front of 2, there's an audience of 1 getting 100% of what I can do.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealth.com. Good luck, athletes.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Erin Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
Coca's Pizza, proud to announce our pizza buffet is back every Wednesday at our Boardman and Campfield locations. Adults only $7.99 and kids only $4.99, and $2 beer starting at 8 o'clock. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
Every customer has a story, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Anthony Hartwig with you, and this is Thursday, January 13th, 2022. We are with you for about another half an hour, and without further ado, we're going to debut another interview. This time, a player profile from Jackson Milton. I had the chance to talk with Carla Blankafort from the Blue Jays. She is listed as a junior, but for all intents and purposes, a senior, as this is her first and last year with Jackson Milton. The foreign exchange student from Spain talks to me about her journey from Spain to the United States, what it's been like, what adjustments she had to make, and a bunch of other things. It's a great conversation. Can't wait for you to hear it. So without further ado, here is the interview with Jackson Milton's own Carla Blankafort. Hello, everybody. Anthony Hartwig here with a Jackson Milton girls basketball player profile. I am joined by Carla Blankafort. Carla, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
You're welcome. Thanks to you.
You are listed as a junior, but for all intents and purposes, a senior. First and last season at Jackson Milton, coming to us from Barcelona all the way here to North Jackson, Ohio. Before we talk about basketball, talk about this opportunity to come over here for a season, for a school year. How the opportunity came about and what some of your thoughts were when you did find out that you were going to have the opportunity.
Well, I had always wanted to go to the United States, but it was like a hard thing to do because it's like expensive and all this stuff. And I got like a scholarship, so I got to come here, and I didn't even know that I was gonna come to Ohio. Like, it was like completely a surprise. I was in a Monday and they were like, on Wednesday you have to be in Ohio. And I was like, oh my gosh. And and now I'm like so happy here. And yeah, I've always wanted to do it. And now I finally got it and I'm happier than ever. Like, yeah.
That had to be kind of a whirlwind to be told on Monday, hey, 2 days you got to be in Ohio and you're going to be in the United States. Talk about what those 2 days were like, trying to get everything in order, obviously, saying goodbye to your family over in Spain for a year, and then what it was like to get here in the first couple of days here as well.
Yeah, at the beginning it was hard, and for my parents as well, because I'm an only child. So yeah, now they are with like no kids in the house. And when I first came here, it was like kind of hard to understand people talking in English, and it was like the first couple of days of school, it was like hard to like not make friends, but it was like just different, and I had to get used to it. But now it's like I'm so like comfortable with this type of life and everything. Yeah.
And you get into a team in Jackson Milton that only has 7 girls. I mean, it's just like a perfect fit. Such a tight knit family over there anyway. What has it been like trying to gel with this team and getting to know all the players and really being a part of this Jackson Milton girls basketball family?
Well, I've been playing basketball for a couple of years, and I knew for sure that I really wanted to play basketball in the United States if I got to come. And I'm like very thankful for the teammates I have because they make it so easy. Like it was kind of hard to learn like all the plays, and not just that, it was because it was in another language and everything, so it was kind of like way harder. But they really made it so easy because they were supporting me all the time, and we're very lucky to have the seniors we have, like Chelsea Williams, Kylie Wilson, and all of them, because they really help us and they are the leaders on the court, and it's like good to have them because yeah.
Besides the language barrier, obviously that made it difficult. Were there any other like stylistic changes in basketball or ways that you would play over in Spain that are a little bit different here and things that are different about playing basketball in Europe compared to in the United States?
Yeah, I feel like yeah, even some rules are kind of different, in not much but a little bit. Yeah, some rules are different in the way of like basketball, and I feel like here I'm like getting in foul trouble usually, and I think it's because like here is like they call fouls like more often than in Spain. In Spain is like kind of more tough, like more like you can be a little bit more aggressive. I feel like, and here I feel like I can't that much, and that's a difference that I really think. Yeah.
Talk about this coaching staff. I mean, how big they have been in guiding you along and being able to learn all these little differences and learn all the plays and be a part of this team.
Well, in Spain, we didn't used to have much plays, so it was like a kind of new type of game at all. And the coaches are like, they've been helping me so much with the plays at the beginning when I was like kind of stuck with them. But now I feel like I'm very comfortable with all of them, with all the plays, all the teammates, and I'm really enjoying this season. Yeah.
What about outside of basketball and all the things you get to experience, just being a part of a school system over here? What have been some of your favorite experiences in Jackson Milton, just being able to be a part of the school system?
In Jackson Milton, I'm enjoying so much, like not just playing sport. I'm really enjoying like watching other team sports, like the boys basketball varsity games with my friends, or either in the football season. I used to have so much fun with all my friends going to the games and stuff like that that Jackson Milton does. And yeah, that's something. Yeah.
I saw you also got to go to some homecoming dances and stuff like that. What was those experiences like, and getting to experience some of the hallmarks of high school over here in America, like homecoming, like football games, like class 8 to 6 and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, in Spain we don't have dances like homecoming, prom, like none at all. And then football, it's not a common sport at all. Like we don't have it, and we basically don't even have high school sports. So it's way different because here is like people give a lot of it's like very important being an athlete, like playing sports. And in Spain is like you just go to school to study and basically that's it. But yeah, here is like so cool the stuff, the sport, because it's like everybody goes, watch, plays and everything, teams and everything. Yeah.
I wanna give you a chance to give your host family a shout out too, because obviously none of that would be possible without the people that put you up and the people that are able to live with. Talk about them and what they've meant to your success over here.
2 weeks before I just came here, some people from my agency called them and they were like, would you like to host like a girl from Spain? And they were like, sure, why not? And then 2 weeks after, I was already there, and they've been taking care of me a lot. All the months, almost already. I've been here almost like 4 months or 5. I cannot remember. I came here like on September 1st. So yeah, they've been taking care of me like as another child, and I'm very thankful for them. Yeah.
What has been your favorite subject at Jackson Milton taking as part of your schooling?
I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoy cooking class since we don't have it in Spain, and I kind of like Spanish class as well because it's like very easy, and I'm with my friends, and I just have fun in there, and the teacher is awesome, so it's like I like it.
How many people have asked you to tutor them in Spanish?
What?
How many people have asked you to tutor them in Spanish? I mean, I'm sure you.
Oh, a lot. I'm always helping everybody, and everybody's like, Carla, what's that? Carla, what's that? Or Carla, help me. And it's, yeah, basically, yeah.
Is it funny for you to see people try to learn your language and be on the flip side of it? Obviously, you having to learn a little bit of English.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I'm like, because for me it's funny when people try to speak in Spanish to me, but I'm like, in the other side I'm like, maybe they think it's funny the way I speak in English, but I feel like, I don't know, it's just funny. I like it how people, the accent people have speaking Spanish.
Obviously, you still have time to go here. What are some things that you want to accomplish on the basketball court? Some things you want to accomplish and for the rest of your time here that you want to kind of do before you have to go back home to Spain?
After the basketball season, I love doing sport, like any sport. I really enjoy it. So I'm probably gonna run track since I used to do it before playing basketball in Spain. Because in Spain is like you don't have like season sports. It's like travel teams. They're like clubs. And I used to play track before basketball because they were like whole year sports. So I used to do that. Then I got injured and I played basketball after because I was never that good as before. And yeah, I'm planning on running track and probably playing softball since it's a sport that I'll never be able to do in Spain because we don't have it. So yeah, that's basically my plans for after the basketball season.
What about your goals as a person, you know, education-wise, things you want to do and accomplish in your future?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of lost with that, but I really like talking and being with people and everything. So I'm thinking about making a career of like communication or public relations or stuff like that because that's what I enjoy, like being with people, and I don't know, I'm very talkative.
All right, before we end this wonderful interview, let's go back to basketball a little bit and talk about this team, the season you guys have had. You guys are having a great season. You guys are winning a lot. What have been some of the things you guys have talked about as a team, the goals you want to accomplish, and how you want to take this kind of second half of the season now that we're in January to February?
I think we're surprising most of the teams because they were like, these are just 7 people, they're gonna suck, and we're proving that we're very good. And last game we beat Springfield that was undefeated, so nobody expected that, and now I think all the teams are scared of us. I really think so, and I feel like we're gonna end with a good season, and our goals basically are try to be first in the league, and I think we can get it if we keep doing like how we're doing. And obviously we want to go far in the tournaments as every team, I guess.
Kelsey Williams called you that you're their secret weapon. Do you feel that way, that some people don't really know anything about you and you can come to the court and really take a lot of people for a surprise?
Yeah, I heard her interview and she said that, and I feel like it's kind of true because it's like I came here from nowhere, nobody knows me, and I feel like I'm helping, and that makes the other teams be like, who is this girl? Like, where did she come from? So yeah, I feel like she's right.
You talked about tournaments. I mean, the tournament atmosphere. How excited are you for that? Like, when or the season's over, and you have to really advance to get that tournament win. So how excited are you to get into that tournament atmosphere here in America?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared as well because it's like if we have a bad game and we lose, that's it. But I'm very confident of us, and I feel like we're gonna go far if we keep doing like we're doing. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
All right, Carla, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to let you give a shout out to your family back home and the people that supported you throughout this whole journey. I'm sure you've had people keep in touch from you from back home, family, friends, whatever it be. Give a shout out to all the people that support you and the people that you couldn't really do all this stuff without.
Yeah, well, of course, without my parents, I couldn't have come here, and all my friends have supported me as well to get to come here, even if I'm missing them all, of course, because I would lie if I said I didn't. But yeah, I'm very thankful because without them, I couldn't be here right now, and I'm basically living my best year ever. And I don't want it to finish because I really don't want to come back, even if I miss them. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. I love it here.
Carla, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was great to talk to you. We'll talk to you again real soon. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. You too.
That was a wonderful conversation, a wonderful interview with Carla Blancafort, who is Jackson Milton's foreign exchange student from Barcelona, Spain, coming to be on the basketball team and kind of experience high school over here in America. And like she said, there's a lot of differences, a lot of things that she had to get used to. And it's been fun to watch her play. A secret weapon for sure. I mean, when Chelsea Williams called her the secret weapon in her post-game interview a couple weeks ago, and not even a couple weeks ago, man. Days are blurring on me. That was this Monday on their win against Springfield. I thought it was absolutely true. I mean, there's no scouting report on someone that just pops into the program, and teams have kind of struggled understanding how to defend her, what to do with her. And now you'll probably see more teams get a little bit better with that because there's more tape on her as the season goes on. But it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes for Carla and the Blue Jays. They are in action tonight against Middle Ridge. I will be there on the call, and it'll be a fun one to see how Jackson Milton can bounce back after their loss to Western Reserve earlier this week. So with that being said, we've had the interviews, we've had the recaps. Let's go into our pick'em game as Ty's not here, so my picks are a lot less stressful. Don't have anyone to compete with except the fans. The fan voting is always open, and the polls today can be found on Twitter. The Twitter handle is @RunningPointYSN. Be sure to head over there and pick along with us as we start with LeBray traveling to Garfield tonight. This one will be a fun one as Garfield looking to stay hot. LeBray's offense can never be counted out of a game. Laura McCoy can definitely take over. And right now the fan vote has it, kind of close, 63-37% edge to Garfield tonight. And when I'm thinking about this one, especially since it's in Garrettsville, and that's a tough place to go and win, I'm going to take Jenna Smith and the Lady G-Men to get the win tonight. Perfect time to remind everybody as well, if you're a Garfield fan out there, be sure to head over to ysnlive.com/Big Dogs and vote for Sarah Seaman, who is up for Big Dog of the Valley. Voting is unlimited and ends on Sunday at midnight. We move on to the next game on our poll, and it is Matthews traveling to Badger. Right now, the Braves have 83% of the fan vote on Twitter. And you look at this matchup, and Badger has been impressive all season. They've definitely proven they can score. They have plenty of games that are above 55 into the 60s, which when you look at the season average for girls basketball this year, 60 points is on the upper scale. So Badger has definitely proven that they know how to score. I think they get the win tonight at home, and I'll go with the fans who have them up 83% with 6 votes in that poll so far. We move on to the game that I'll be at, Jackson Milton going to Middle Ridge. The Blue Jays trying to bounce back after their loss to Western Reserve on Monday, and they have an 89% edge in the fan vote, 9 votes in the poll. And I will take the Blue Jays to bounce back and get the win on the road in Mineral Ridge tonight. We have Sebring versus Western Reserve tonight, and I apologize as I was getting the polls up. That one didn't load, so we have no poll for this game, but I will take Western Reserve to keep their momentum going and stay in that hunt for the MVAC. They are in second place, and none of these teams, Jackson, Milton, Western Reserve, Springfield, can afford a third loss in the conference, so they're pretty much in a must-win situation for the rest of the year. But we talked about this earlier. I still think Jackson Milton is in the best sitting position because they still have Waterloo twice on their schedule. So unlike Reserve and Springfield, they don't have to hope that Waterloo loses to someone else for them to get up there in time. They just have to beat Waterloo twice. A lot easier said than done because Waterloo looks very impressive this year. Once again, I'll take the Blue Devils to beat Sebring at home tonight. Up next, we have Valley Christian. They are traveling to Lisbon. Lisbon has a 57% edge in the fan vote, and there are 7 votes on the poll so far. Man, Lisbon coming off a big victory on Monday against Columbiana. This was a win that saw them snap a losing streak to Columbiana that went back to 2012, 2013, that season. So they get the Columbiana Clippers off their back, the proverbial monkey. And I think they will use that as momentum. I think they'll get the win tonight at home over Valley Christian. I'll go with the fans who have them with a 57% edge tonight. We move on. It'll be Latonia versus East Palestine. The Bears traveling to Bulldog Country, and they have a 71% edge in the fan vote right now on Twitter. And I'm not going to pick against Ella Gregorino and the Bears. Even though they're on the road, they have looked very impressive, especially against the teams that are sitting where they are in the EOAC. I think they'll get the win tonight. I'll go with the fans again, and I'll go with Latonia. We move on. Columbiana traveling to Wellsville. Wellsville still looking for that program 4th win, which would be the most since 2015 for their team. But it's not going to be easy tonight as they welcome in Columbiana. The Clippers have 80% of the fan vote, 10 votes in this poll. And, I'm gonna lean towards the Clippers as well. I'll go with the fans. I think they'll get the win on the road. I don't think this will be an easy of a game as it usually is against Wellsville. I think that Tigers team is pretty scrappy, but they'll get the win on the road. We move on into the NE8. Niles will travel to Poland, and it is an 86% fan vote lead for Poland over the Dragons. Poland looking to just keep on keeping on in the NE8. I don't think they'll miss a beat tonight. Niles, so I want to take time, and Coach Blanche talked about it in his Coach's Corner that we heard earlier today. Niles is really playing hard for Michaela Butler, and I really like what she's putting together with that team. I think if they stick with her and they give her a couple of years, she's definitely getting the buy-in. She's getting the effort, and with that comes learning, comes growth, and I really think there's an uptick for Niles girls basketball if Michaela Butler is able to stay there and keep getting commitment and effort from the girls, because it's a different Niles team as far as effort-wise this year. They're definitely playing hard every game they go out. So they're not going to back down from Poland, but I think Poland gets the win tonight at home. And they are up 86% in the fan vote. We move on to a big one in the MVAC. McDonald taking on Springfield. And Springfield, once again, along with those other 3 teams in the second place in that MVAC Scarlet tier, they are in a must-win situation. They gotta get this win. They're at home. It's a close fan vote, 56% to 44%. This is round 2 of Mckenzie versus Mckenzie. Always an interesting matchup as Coach Mckenzie and McDonald. Tony Mckenzie goes up against his son, John Mckenzie in Springfield. The Tigers won the one in McDonald earlier in the season. That was handedly as well. But we saw in Jackson Milton not too long ago that McDonald looks like a different team right now, and they got the win on Monday to bounce back after their break. They had a little bit of a break there in the chunk of the season. So they're back on the court. They look good. I think they'll be more competitive tonight, but I'm not going to pick against the Tigers. I cannot see this team losing 3 in a row. I can't do it. They've lost 2 in a row. They were both really close losses. I don't see the Tigers losing 3 in a row. I'm going to pick the Tigers to get the win. Narrow fan vote, 56% going to the Tigers. We have Mooney going to Howland. The Tigers, no rest for the weary. They got the big win last night over Canfield. Alyssa Pompilia got her 1,000th career point. We've heard from her. And, man, this is one of those quote-unquote layover games. You don't want to get so high on that roller coaster that you don't show up against Mooney. I think Howland on paper very much the better team tonight, but not to say that Mooney is not good enough to beat you if you don't show up and focus and give them the respect they deserve. Elena Scavina can score. Angelina Rotuno can shoot really well. Definitely good enough to beat Howland if Howland doesn't get back and stay even, as our friend Coach Bailey likes to say during the soccer season for Salem. So I think Howland gets the win tonight, but I don't expect Mooney to be taken lightly. They have the 87% fan vote lead right now on Twitter. The Tigers do. We move on to Waterloo, traveling to Louisville. This one will be a 6 o'clock tip, by the way, in Rocket Country. So if you're heading out to watch this one, make sure you get there early because it will not tip off at 7 like most of the games. Waterloo has a 71% fan vote lead. They are in first place in the MVAC, a 2-game lead. And, of course, everyone else in the MVAC rooting for Louisville hard tonight, but I don't think it'll happen as Waterloo, in my opinion, gets the win tonight. 71% in the fan vote. The fans think so too. We'll go back to the NE8. This one will be a fun one in the Fieldhouse. The streaking Struthers Wildcats, who just got a win last night over Ursuline, will come back into league play and play a Hubbard team that we know plays a very physical style of basketball. This is a hard team to play coming off of a game the night before because Hubbard definitely will push you around. They're not afraid of contact. They're gonna bruise you up. And when you've already played a game the night before, I wonder if fatigue will be a factor, especially in the second half for the Wildcats. We will see. We'll also want to see what Grace Narcom and her health is like. We would definitely wish her the best. We know that she went down in the game over Poland on Monday. We don't know how serious it is. We never speculate about injuries, but we definitely hope that she gets back on the floor as soon as possible. With all that being said, I'm going to take Struthers in the Fieldhouse to get the win, and I will go along with the fans who have them up 67% to 33%, 6 votes in that poll. Brookfield, they will travel to Campbell. Campbell, another team playing their second game in 2 days. They got the win over Sebring last night on the road. They return home. Different animal, though, in Brookfield. They have 100% of the fan vote. All 8 votes going to Brookfield so far. And Brookfield having to bounce back after a loss to Garfield. I think they'll do so. I think Campbell's in the bad situation where they have to take on a very angry Brookfield team. And it'll be just too much for the Red Devils to handle. United continues to impress in the EOAC. They are undefeated in the conference. They'll look to keep that alive as they go up against Southern at home. It is a 60% fan vote lead for the Eagles over the Indians, and I think this will be one of the tougher ones in the EOAC. We all know that Ashley Schroeds can score at a monster clip if you let her, but I still think United has the edge. They'll get the win at home, and they will stay undefeated in the EOAC. This one split 50-50. It's the closest fan vote that we have yet, and it is Steubenville Central Catholic going to East Liverpool to face the Potters. Man, the Potters looked very good in their loss against Edison, 48-44. That was a team that beat them handedly earlier in the season. So we are definitely seeing improvement from the East Liverpool girls, and that makes me want to pick them. I'm going to rock the banner and take the Potters against Steubenville Central Catholic tonight. The fans, they're split 50-50. We'll see how it goes. Last but not least, in the MVAC grades here, we have Liberty traveling to Crestview. Liberty has the 86% fan vote edge right now. 7 votes in that poll. Crestview's won 5 of their last 6. They are definitely trying to find a rhythm. They'll be tested. I'm interested to see how this game goes. I think it's 2 different styles. Crestview's definitely young. They need to get off to a fast start if they have any chance. But I think they do have a little bit of a chance. I think they have the defense to maybe slow down Liberty a little bit. I'm going to pick Liberty to win this game. Can't pick against an undefeated team. But I think this will be competitive. I really do. I think Crestview is starting to get some momentum. They're starting to feel themselves a little bit. That win over LeBray earlier in the season just a week ago was very important to their confidence. And I do believe that they will be ready for the Leopards and not back down at all. Sometimes young teams in games like this, it's good that they don't know what they don't know. And I don't think they're going to understand how big of a mismatch, quote unquote, this is on paper. And they'll be able to just go out and play basketball, which is one of the good things about having a young team. They just kind of don't overthink things. They just go out and play, let their bodies react, and they'll be fine. So let's go back and go over these games, who's going to be covering them in window tips so you can plan out your schedule on watching or going out to a girls basketball game tonight. We'll kick off our coverage from Badger at 5:30 tip. It'll be Matt Morrison on the call from Kingsman, Ohio, and that'll get us started. Then at 6 o'clock, we have Waterloo at Lowville, and it'll be Eric Hughes on the call. Also at 6 o'clock, Jackson Milton will be at Middle Ridge. I'll be there. We have 6 o'clock, Steubenville Central Catholic at East Liverpool. CJ Schroeds will have the call in that one. Then we move on to 6:15. After 2 quarters of JV, we'll have the start with Southern at United. It'll be Chris Sigler with the call there. And then at 6:45, we'll have Hubbard at Struthers. It'll be Bob Zanny with the call in Struthers. We move on to the next game that'll be on the network, Columbiana at Wellsville. It'll be Coy with the call there. 7 o'clock tip as normal. Want to let you know Edison versus Beaver Local, Girard versus Lakeview, and Jefferson versus South Range. All canceled tonight. No makeup date yet announced. So we move from that to La Brea at Garfield. Their school will be taking care of this one at 7 o'clock, so make sure to tune into that one. Big one in the MVAC gray tier. Next, we have Latonia at East Palestine. DJ Oakley will be there for the call on that one. Liberty at Crestview, Larry Scraggs. He'll be there for that. McDonald at Springfield, it'll be Noah Doty on the call, 7 o'clock. Niles at Poland, Brian Oatridge will be there, 7 o'clock tip. Excuse me. And then at 7, it'll be Mooney and Howland. It'll be Noah Ricks there. And then that'll be doing it for the varsity lineup here on the network tonight. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games on the network tonight for you to enjoy starting at 5:30. And that'll do it for today's episode of Running Point, by the way. As we start to wrap this one up, we will take a 22-hour break. I'll be back tomorrow. A lot on the show tomorrow. We'll have Coach James Franciselli from McDonald coming on at 12:30. At 12:50, we will be talking to Edison girls basketball player and one of their leaders in Savannah Ankrum. And then we will also have debuting a coach's corner with Aaron Pounds that we did not get to today. So we'll just boop that to tomorrow. One of the good things about having pre-recorded interviews. We'll also have a interview debut with Ronnie Leonard, this week's winner of Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. That'll be tomorrow as well. And I believe Richie Giuliano will also be popping in to join us a little bit with recaps and picks. So all that tomorrow from 12 to 2 on Running Point. We'll be here. Enjoy the night of basketball. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next. Power Hour from 3 to 4, and then basketball starts at 5:30.